Karibu. So, let me first of all, I feel like I'm committed to explain one thing. My name is Albert Maloba. Today in the morning, I've had a role in our government of Kenya, but out of personal decision, I've chosen to step down so that we can all work together as a country and as a nation to take the country forward, not as an opposition, but as interested partners in the development and the growth of our nation. So, ladies and gentlemen of the press, esteemed stakeholders, and fellow Kenyans, the University Student Leaders Association, USLA, stand before you today to stand or sound the following clarion call to our Kenyan's education system. The Kenyan education system, due to lack of resources but amalgamate combination of mismanagement of resources and systematic failure that is robbing our students and undermining our institutions and jeopardizing the future of our nation. Having been a student leader and president of Moi University, education to me is a fundamental pillar for national development and social mobility to everyone. Thus, when there is a challenge, anytime, I'll wake up and say what has to be said. And with that, I want to recommend the student leaders who are here for giving me an opportunity to serve as the executive director of the University Student Leaders Association. The Ministry of Education, despite receiving one of the largest annual budget in education system and allocation, has an obligation to ensure that our universities get enough resources, outrightly from the national treasury down to the universities, and give university students a very great and prosperous education. Recent audits and financial disclosures reveal a grim reality of billions of shillings meant to empower learners are being mismanaged in one way or another through ghost schools, fraudulent schemes, and mismanagement of programs. The victims of this systematic failure are not abstract numbers. They are the 160,000 eligible students who, in one or another, might be denied funding, and the countless others dropping out of the universities and TVETs, and the marginalized youth whose dreams of social mobility are being crushed by mismanagement of resources at the helm of leadership. And thus we request and demand that the Cabinet Secretary of the Ministry of Education and the entire stakeholder system to wake up and ensure that they respond to the crisis that we have as a nation. I'll invite yes, I'll invite Alice to come and go through paragraph 2.
My name is Mulinge Alice, President, African Nazarene University in Rongai. Beyond the immediate funding gaps, lying a festering governance crisis in public universities, Kenya's university system is currently staring down a debt abyss of 72.2 billion shillings, with 25.9 billion shillings owed in employer pension contributions alone. This poses a constitutional and ethical concern. Thus, tens of thousands of retired or retiring lecturers risk falling into destitution due to institutional insolvency. Pension liabilities are not merely bookkeeping items, they are a statutory and contractual obligation protected under Article 43 of the Constitution and the Employment Act. Even more disconcerting in the depth of financial mismanagement reported in annual audit statements, the Auditor General 2024 report revealed that over 44.2 billion shillings remain unaccounted for across universities and technical and vocational education and training institutions. The procurement irregularities are non-existent, and receipts to outright theft. The rot appear systematic. Yet, despite all these repeated warnings, parliamentary oversight has failed to yield sustainable accountability. To compound matters, the revised 2023 hybrid university funding model, which sought to combine government scholarships, HELB loans, and private sector partnerships, has been rendered ineffective after a High Court injunction temporarily halted its implementation. The legal uncertainties surrounding the model have paralyzed planning in most of the institutions, and without urgent stakeholder engagement, the start of the new academic year could be delayed or proceed under conditions of extreme dysfunction. Adding insult to the injury, over 25,000 qualified teachers were denied promotion in the 2025-2026 cycle after Parliament voted down a 2.2 billion shillings allocation sought by the Teachers Service Commission. The decision, widely condemned by the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, has led to widespread demoralization within the teaching profession, further eroding the morale of frontline educators.
So thank you, the media houses, for joining us for this first press release by University Student Leaders Association. My name is Karel Omoyo, and I'm the Secretary General for the University Student Leaders Association, which also happens to be the only legally registered organization for student leaders in Kenya. So today we are gathered here because we have a crisis in the education sector in Kenya, and we cannot continue like this. We, as the student leaders in this country, have decided that we are going to stand united and fight for the rights of the students that we lead in our various institutions. I'll go through my bits of the release. So, what are we calling for? We are calling for a student-led solution, a convening of a national stakeholders dialogue. Who are the stakeholders? These are the students, these are the student leaders, the lecturers, the Ministry of Education, and all development partners that have an interest in bettering the education system in Kenya. In response to this multidimensional crisis, the University Student Leaders Association of Kenya hereby proposes an urgent national intervention. We are calling for the immediate convening of a joint multi-stakeholder dialogue session under the auspices of the Ministry of Education, in coordination with, number one, the student leaders who are represented here from all accredited universities and tertiary institutions, HELB, the University Fund, and other statutory financial arms of the government. We are also calling upon the Department for Higher Education, the State Department for Higher Education, the Parliamentary Committees on Education and Budget, the Vice Chancellors and the university management bodies, civil society organizations, development partners, and education economists. The objectives of this dialogue is to formulate and publish a joint stakeholder report under the working title Rebuilding Trust and Sustainability in Kenya's Higher Education Financing, a multi-stakeholder response to the 2025 crisis. This document will serve as both an accountability framework and a policy action plan to be submitted to Parliament and the National Treasury before the supplementary budget review in the next 60 days. The goals of this proposed forum are to conduct a diagnostic assessment of governance failures and systemic inefficiencies within the higher education financing structure. We are here also to co-create reform measures, including a legal and a structural overhaul of the health system with a view toward eliminating fraud and expanding the student support. We are also here to propose a short-term student relief option, tuition waivers, and hardship funds in response to this year's funding paralysis. We've heard from the Ministry of Education that and the Ministry of Finance that they are currently experiencing problems with the financing of the students that are supposed to be joining in September. We are here to call on the government that we need to find a solution between now and the time that the new students will be joining in September. Thank you.
Comrades Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Comrades Viva.
Viva.
Comrades Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Comrades Inject.
Inject.
The issue of education is something that cuts across whether you are pro-government or against government. I think this is something that affects all households in this issue. My name is Mark Ouko. I am a youth coordinator at the National Students Council of Kenya, and I am very humbled to join the leadership of the University Students Leaders Association on this press. This fourth section, the University Student Leader Association is not just giving reprimands, but also offering solutions. And on this fourth phase of it, it will be highlighted. As the University Student Leaders Association, entrusted with drafting this concept on behalf of the student body, I underscore that the right to education is not aspirational. It is a constitutional guarantee under Article 53, 1B, and an economic imperative for national development. Kenya cannot afford a generation of students whose academic future is mortgaged by physical recklessness and policy inertia. We now formally, one, urge the Ministry of Education to facilitate and co-host this national dialogue with the next 60 days ahead of the next university intake. Secondly, request the Office of the President and Parliament to formally support this process through executive memoranda and legislative engagement. Third, call upon all university administration, civil society organizations, and professional bodies to endorse and participate in this effort to rescue and revitalize our higher education sector. Fourth, we further extend an invitation to institutional partners and development actors to lend financial and technical support to this initiative. Let it be remembered that nations do not collapse overnight, they collapse in silence. When those who should speak fail to do so. In this press release, the student leaders of Kenya have spoken clearly and collectively. We hope the nation is listening. Comrades, wisdom.
Wisdom.
Comrades, wisdom.
Wisdom.
The hottest places in hell is reserved for those who maintain neutrality in the moments of crisis. Comrades, wisdom.
Wisdom.
Comrades, inject.
Inject.
Comrades, power!
Power.
Comrades, power!
Power.
Comrades, viva!
Viva.
Viva, comrades, viva!
Viva.
Viva, comrades, viva!
Viva.
Comrades, wisdom!
Wisdom.
A man who tries to shake a baobab
Yes.
ends up shaking his own buttocks. Comrades, power!
Power.
We are here to call for solidarity from all students and all student unions that we must solve this crisis in the education sector. So we hereby invite any questions that the media might have.
Okay, fine. It's not an offer. I just stepped down out of the national interest to help provide leadership in the space of students in the entire nation and globally. As you may see, the University Student Leaders Association, it is not only mirrored here in Kenya. We being legally registered and being able to work with other legally registered stakeholders, we have the greater vision to provide this as a pathway to enable especially most of the students who are in the university to get quality, fair, and equitable education. I've been a student leader as university president, Moi University, and even University President's Council a while ago. And I have realized why I accepted this offer to serve as the executive director of this caucus is because there is a serious, relentless matters around universities and higher education that need to be addressed. It's long before when we saw leaders who are addressing matters of universities in a more clear and a focused way. Since the times where there was a call of activism during the Babu Owino's time and era, and now where we have a kind of consultative, and that's why this is a consultative meeting. And I want to put out across there that this is not a fact of opposition. In fact, if anything, we are offering our knowledge, our wisdom, and skills to support the government where it is wrong, to tell it like that, hey, there is something here. Can we work on this policy and make it better for everyone? And I'm very sure that the president is in tandem with such an organization, and I'm very sure that the president would like even to have a moment with such an organization to listen to them, because we should be understanding that a president is it should be somebody who listens, and he would like to listen more to understand where are the issues that the students are complaining about, because these are the future of our country.
Okay, that's what I'm going to say. So you're calling for inclusive dialogue. I believe the Minister of Education came as care of continuing university. Some of you are involved in it. Some of the UOM students are also involved in it. 2 weeks we had UOM presenting a petition to the Minister of Education and giving them a ultimatum of 24 hours. But those of their needs, taking place of a conversation with others. They're giving a ultimatum of 6 days. What if they want, then what's the next action?
And then maybe they understand now is involved that will get to be implemented and your opinions going to that report. Now that you're calling for a second dialogue and bringing another report, with that, they are wasting the country. And you won't be understand what the government's proposals, the implement of the university implementation.
I think let me begin first by answering to you, nice lady, that we have had so many memoranda. The building of a nation does not just start with one recommendation. Even when we were building on the constitution that we enjoy, all of us, the 2020 constitution, we had so many recommendations. And we had to consider which one is the best for all of us. So as we await for his recommendation, and as you had alluded that there are some people who had already given in their input on the recommendations that are out, that are yet to be out, there is no problem in having to restructure where we find that there is difficulty. Especially today, there is still a crisis around university funding model. We are aware that a number of vice chancellors accepted that this is the best way forward, but the student, who is the client? I think in any business, I would assume to say that business is not, education is not business. Yeah, education is supposed to be an equalizer of everyone, including you, the media. And so in this journey, we want to call even upon you, where you see that there is great input that you want us to emphasize and help the nation find a better direction, then that is the way to go.
My name is Musula. In regards to the new funding model, a few weeks ago we sat down with CEO Harry Monari, and he mentioned that students this semester have only received their allowances but not tuition. So just a follow up on that, some of those students have their results been held because the tuition fee has not been paid by the health.
Yeah, that one I want to ask. You can answer. I want to ask my colleague to help respond on that. Maniki.
Also, in regards to that, the appeal process was also done. And those who are not satisfied with their file or can't be the first time were called to appeal. How is the process so far? Have most of the students been changed to different funds? how is the situation in Uganda?
Thank you so much for that question. My name is Joseph Moniki from the University of Nairobi. About the results, we have been receiving our results from last week, first year, second year, third and fourth years, and fifth years and sixth years. And my faculty, which is Chiromo, I think we have received the results. Even if not all of them, we have started receiving our results. So there is no barrier for those. You mentioned about tuition fee. I think even the people who are waiting for the tuition fee, still their results are being uploaded. About the issue of what was the question? The appeals. The process of appealing, it was a little bit difficult for some people, but I remember in two scenarios. There are students who applied, they were in band 5, they appealed and they were placed in band 2. But it took some, I think it was around 1 week for it to accept. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Ivan Skiprono, President Mount Kenya University. And to respond on number one, the early loan cases, we have of course reported the issues to the early loan boards, and up to date, they have not given us the way forward. And we have the majority of the students affected, especially in batch number 6119, which up to date, they have not dispersed the early loans to the students. Concerning the appeal cases that we forwarded to our students, you will find that the government or the LPLON and even the system itself that was formulated has not served the due process that we ought to have been implemented. So up to date, it is still pending, and we are still advocating for the same for our students. Number one, for the LPLONs to be dispersed so that they can start for the exam. For our universities, we have assisted them to sit for the exams, but up to date, they have not been allocated with the same funds. And now we are in the next financial year. We don't know if they are going to release those amounts of money, which it accumulates for Mount Kenya University. We are having 8,023 students who are affected. Up to date, we have not received any follow-up from the LPLON spot. So we are still following up with the cases, and we are still hopeful that our student will get the due process on allocation and disbursement of LPLONs. Yes.
The issue students not getting the full amount they can apply for or not getting the amount. Also, we have been with that, Mount Kenya being a private university, we think that is what the university still, on the other hand, Maliki has said the students are getting everything that they require.
Yes, because it is a private institution, we have also our students who are brought by COOPs. And we are in private institution, but we are public students. So when we say it or we term it as private, it means we are terming it in terms of the staffs being paid. Though our students who are affected by the early loans, of course, they pay for themselves. And they didn't get the full amount fully, incomplete, not even a tuition. Because for our students, they are not given the upkeep fees. They are only given the tuition fee. So completely, they didn't receive any amount. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. My name is Yasin Kefokari, Secretary General Multimedia University. Comrades power.
Power.
Comrades power.
Power.
Comrades Ria.
Ria.
Comrades wisdom.
Wisdom.
Comrades wisdom.
Wisdom.
Comrades,
Yes.
they say
Yes.
that a cow
Yes.
cannot compete with an elephant in an eating competition. Comrades power.
Power.
That today, comrades, we are here as the university student leader. We want to push for reforms in the educational sector. We've seen so many problems in the educational sector, of which are calling for the national government to give us a way forward. We've seen the government crying about funds, but today we are not here to. Education is not a matter that we are going to request for, but you demand as student leaders that our constituents want money in the school, our younger siblings want to be funded for education, that the government should fund education and give every children in Kenya an opportunity to get free education. Thank you.
Okay, so fine. I think I will conclude. Do you have something to say?
Probably just to add on everything.
Comrades power, comrades Chialala. So again, my name is Hilda. I'm head of delegates for an international university, and as he has said, we have students in universities who are from COSIPs. So we are not requesting; it's a demand. We are students in this country, we are citizens of this country, and also we are the leaders of tomorrow. So we need these leaders to step up and do their work. And their work is making sure that if the students have been given the liberty by this country to go to school, let them be at par and make sure that all of us are getting equal measure of the same education by disbursing funds that are required by the students. Once again, the leaders of this country should do their work. We are not requesting, we are demanding, and it's our right for today and for tomorrow. There's some Gen Alphas behind us. What are they going to take home? Is it the same education that we are getting where we don't have the funds that we require, that we need, that we demand? So once again, step up to your work. Thank you.
Comrades power. Comrades power. Comrades Tibin. My name is Julius Odhiambo from ZTech University, President. To add on matters held in the private institutions, right now we are almost sitting for our exams. And most of these students in our institution, the private institutions, have not received their help. And they need this help. For you to sit for an exam in a private institution, you have to have completed your school fee. And as student leaders, we are fighting for them to at least sit for these exams. But we need the government also to at least help us to make this process easier by disbanding these funds to these students. Please, please, please. Not everyone is rich. We need each and every one of us to be comfortable in their studies. So at least the government should intervene in this area, because it is really affecting many of these students in our institutions. Let's not joke with education, because this is the only thing that neutralizes and equalizes each and every one of us in Kenya. Comrades, power! Comrades, Tibin!
Okay. Finally, I think we have come to the end of our press release, but unless there is any burning question, there being no any burning question, I think I want to suggest that from this side, I think the media had requested that they needed to take a footage. So maybe if we can kindly get to our seats.